You want it? Still good. And for these nymphs, these bigger nymphs, but I mean this is an 18 right here, but the Tiemco 30, it's the 3761. A lot of guys that are doing dry flies will use this for the. The name just escaped me. Wouldn't you know it? But it's got kind of that long curved shank to it. Now I'm going to tie this one without a bead. Everybody thinks that they need beads. You don't need beads. If you've ever been in that situation up on the Henry's Fork, or probably even your home river, where you're seeing a pretty prolific hatch going on and you're throwing duns at them or cripples and they just won't eat anything. Those of you that have been up on the ranch know exactly what I'm talking about.
No, they eat everything I throw at.
Is that right?
I'm the only person on the planet.
You and I are going to go do some fishing this summer then. But like on the Teton, for instance, or on the South Fork of the Snake, or even the Madison, sometimes I find that when you're in that situation where there's insects all over and fish are eating all over, but they just refuse everything that you're taking them. Sometimes if you can take a fly like I'm going to tie here and swing it through them, you just subsurface, just right underneath the surface, swinging a fly is super effective in that situation, especially in the evenings on the South Fork when all those caddis get going and all the different hatches that are happening. We're going to go pretty, forgot my wire. We're going to stick with this copper wire again, the copper color and the extra small. Same deal. Hopefully my thread won't break this time. Basically going to do the same thing. We're going to go back to the back of the hook. I really like Partridge for this pattern, these swinging type patterns. This is a really beautiful bird. We get these up and around St. Anthony and Ashton in the wintertime until they're really, it's a really beautiful bird. It's an earthy, where's that feather at? Can you see it? Not really?
And you have the striped tips.
Yeah, you can see that. I mean, that's really buggy looking. It's really earthy. It's a really sexy feather. Yeah, as far as.
Oh, look at that camera focus back. Praise Jesus.
And I'm just going to go with a little bit. I don't want to put a bunch of tail on here. Just a little bit. 3 or 4 or 5 strands at the most. Wrap them in loose. Pull them to length. I want them about half the length of the hook shank. Tie those in good. Whoops, my finger was probably right in the way, wasn't it? Okay, and now I'm just gonna use one strand here of pheasant tail. Just one piece. And then work your thread right back up. This is super easy pattern to do again, but it's effective. Just gonna work it up. Super simple, right? Nothing to it. And it's a real slender body. Then we're just gonna, for strength, we're just gonna wrap our, same deal that we did with that other one. We're gonna wrap our wire up. A little bit of flash, and it also is going to help protect your that one strand of pheasant tail that you're using. Super easy, right? Okay, now we can do, and the sky's the limit here, guys. I don't think there's any right or wrong when you're tying flies. I think that's kind of the beauty of it, but I'm going to stick with with this olive color. I like the olive color, but you could do this in brown, you could do it in black, UV, you could do it in just about, you could even probably do it in red and be just fine. I just like with this one, you just want it to look buggy. Kind of that same thing now. You can kind of see how that material's flaring out a little bit like that, which is cool. We want it to do that because, again, we want that action in the water. Now we're going to take another partridge feather here. I'm going to skin all the fluff out of there. All of this type of material here we want to get out of there.
Looks so easy from what. Thank you.
Then I'm going to take, once I get that feather to the size that I want it, and how I like it to look, about like that. Whoops. I'm just going to take my scissors. I'm going to put it right in the center of that and cut out that the center stem there. So you have that. For the feathers, of course, as you guys all know, has a natural curve to it. Tie it with the curve going down, but just set that right on top of your hook right here. Tie it in. Kind of like it. See how I got it to flare like that? And this is a really good pattern. You can fish it. You can fish it in real slow water. Like there's a little spring up on the South Fork of the Snake that you can't get those fish to eat anything on the surface. But if you swing something like this through the middle of them, they're going to eat that thing almost every time. And you'll find that they'll eat it on the Henry's Fork. They'll eat it on the South Fork. They'll eat it just about anywhere, with the exception of the ranch, except for him.
So is this mostly for this is mayflies, right?
Yeah, this represents, in my mind, you can do whatever color you wanted to. If say you were tying some PMBs and you wanted some little emergers like that you wanted to swing through them, then you just change the color of the dubbing that you're using. Like I said, there's not any real rules on color. That the skies, it's your whatever you want to do. I would fiddle with different colors and different. You might even want to fiddle around with different feathers, but I really like the partridge. I think the partridge is kind of the bee's knees to this fly. I'd use that. You could tie that bigger. You could. This is an 18, but say a 14, for instance, and you could do a pretty cool brown drake nymph. You could do. This green drakes. You could do just about anything you wanted, but that thing is dirty. Oops.